is your abode. For more information, visit our website at www.svbfcanada.com. Is your abode. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Visit watch our upcoming live streams and prior recorded events. May the grace of Lord Sharadamba be with you always. SVBF.
Let us take 5 deep breaths. Fill ourselves with Shiva and Shakti. Shiva, Shakti, Shiva, Shakti, Shiva, Shakti, Shiva, Shakti, Shiva, I would like to start today's lecture with a very genuine question which one of you asked. Because it really turns all of us when we are attending this Soundaryalahari class. I think it is sound from excuse me, I've changed the
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, but your audio is not clear.
Even
Sharp.
now? Even now?
Yes, it's not sharp.
It's clear now.
ಇಲ್ಲ
It's
ಈಗ
clear.
It's very
Okay.
clear now.
Okay.
Thank you. So I
ಬಟ್
will.
ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬ್ಲರ್ ಇದೆ ಬಟ್
Yeah,
ಆಡಿಯೋ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್.
Okay, then let's carry on. So today I would like to start the lecture with a question. And I think it is important that I tell it directly so that it can make more impact on you people instead of writing it in the group. Shri Matre Namaha. Your SL classes have created ripples of ecstasy in our hearts and a longing for being with Shiva Shakti. SL classes are churning and bringing the nectar of our hearts that was laying unknown inside us. Amma, why is it since last few days I have become very emotional and keep crying in front of her? The moment I hear Guru's voice or see her picture or sit in the puja room for japam, tears are rolling down. I feel pained at why people are suffering so much like this in COVID-19 time. I would say, let the tears flow, let it overflow, leave it, continue. Because these are the tears of joy, which is sweet tears, not the salty tears. It is one of the early stages in which every sadhaka goes through this emotional bursts, crying, because it is the first opening of the inner psyche. The anthakarana is opening up itself, that it wants to come out of that individual limitation. It wants to broaden itself. So in that, it is getting the very first hazy glimpse of what that Atma is. So it's a beautiful process. Please go through it with patience. And because the individual devotee is becoming universal, Your inner core, Antahkarana, is reciprocating to whatever is happening in the world. So that is what you are going through. I'm really happy. And let me give you the explanation for this, which is important because many of you might have gone through the same but not have expressed it. In the hands of deities like Vishnu, Lakshmi, Sita, Parvati, we do see the lotus flower, isn't it? Vishnu is holding Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Lakshmi is holding lotus in both the hands. And Sita is holding in one hand the lotus flower, in another one she is giving the vara. And of course, Devi, in Soundaryalahari itself we have seen, in which in many of the mantras, Shankaracharya has referred to her with lotus as the example. So why is it? Why is that lotus in the hands of the deities? Because lotus represents the Jivatma. We are all like the lotus flower. Our life is like lotus flower. So, as protecting us, as they love us, it is represented in their hands as though they are holding us close to them and protecting us in this world. So, if we are that lotus, our life should also open up like the lotus. Have you ever opened the lotus flower layer after layer, layer after layer, and come to the center? It is a very, very meditative, spiritual work which we should take up. When we open the lotus flower, the very first layer of the lotus petals should be opened with good force at the right point. We can't be in haste and open it half and go to the next layer. Then it will not have the place for the inner layers to open up. Have you observed it? So each petal should be opened carefully, Kaushalahari, with that skill, giving the right amount of force to bend at the right point. Only then it opens up nicely and give way for the next layer to open up beautifully. And then the next one, and then the next one. So like that, when we start opening the flower, the minute we see the center of lotus, unknowingly, the person who is opening, their face light up with smile. You can observe it. Because that process of opening every layer is very meditative. So the minute you see the center, it clicks. The opening process is coming to an end. I can see the center. I can see the very seat of Lakshmi in that lotus. So from then onwards, our way of thinking, our way of handling to open the layers will change. It will become more softer, delicate, because it is hard to keep up the center ones open continuously. So it is the same thing. When we go to the Kailash, we very well know we have prepared all the way, all the days we have prepared for many months. And when we go there, we know that we are going on to the Kailash Parikrama and touch the soil of Kailash. Yet, the minute we see for the first time, standing in Manasarovar, the glimpse of Kailash brings extreme joy, and everyone starts crying, shouting with joy of seeing Kailash for the first time. So that is what is happening in the sadhaka as well. So for the first time, when you have the glimpse, the psyche opens up and you start smiling at it. Now, to experiment it, you have 2 lotus. I feel you should do that experiment. And when you open the first flower, concentrate and enjoy the process of opening every petal. In the same way as you are opening the second flower, you become that flower. You are that flower, lotus, and you are opening every petal as though you are opening your own self, which you would have done all these years of your training as sadhaka. We are opening up through experience in life, through studying, or through going through the rigorous disciplines. We would have opened the petals of the layers after layers. And as we come to the center, that is when we have the first glimpse. Once we have that opening of the inner psyche, it leads us further to go deep within to find the center. So it is a very meditative process because it involves both body and the mind in opening the lotus. And when you know that you are that flower, all the more it becomes meditative and it helps us a lot. It helps us a lot. And that is the reason Daksha gave Sati the punishment of writing Vishnu's name on 1 lakh lotus flowers on all the petals. When she started having the relation with Shiva, for uttering the word Shiva, for getting closer to Shiva. So why is it? Because lotus represents us, and it is so highly meditative because it involves opening of the petals, both mind and the body. So when both are involved in it, it's so much of concentration because it needs the skill also. Otherwise, the petal will rip. So same thing can happen in our life too, because we are lotus flower. And as we see, Samun Milat Samvit Kamala Makarandaika Rasikam. So as I am the lotus, Samun Milat Samvit, when it is fully blossomed lotus, I would have got the knowledge of what I am, what these petals are, what the center is. Aralai Swabhavyat, in that also Darasmere, the word comes where they are referring to Shiva getting attracted to the center of the lotus face, which is the teeth. which represents Shri Vidya or Atma Vidya or Brahma Vidya. So there's a lot of connection. So think you are the lotus and take care of the lotus and open it carefully, layer after layer, and you will see the center and you will be attracted to stay in this state of sipping the nectar of that Brahma Vidya, which is in the center of lotus. Okay. मृणाली मृद्वीनां तव भुजलतानां च दसृणाम्
भुजलतानां च तसृणाम्
चतुर्भिः सौन्दर्यम्
चतुर्भिः सौन्दर्यम्
सरसिजभवस्तौति वदनैः
सिजभवस्तौति वदनैः
नखेभ्यः सन्त्रस्यन्
नखेभ्यः सन्त्रस्यन्
प्रथममथनादन्धकरिपोः
प्रथममथनादन्धकरिपोः
चतुर्णां शीर्षाणाम्
चतुर्णां शीर्षाणाम्
सममभयहस्तार्पणधिया
मम भयहस्तार्पणधिया
मृणाली मृद्वीनां तव भुजलतानां च दसृणां चतुर्भिः सौन्दर्यं सरसिजभवस्तौति वदनैः नखेभ्यः सन्त्रस्यन् प्रथममथनादन्धकरिपोः चतुर्णां शीर्षाणां सममभयहस्तार्पणधिया मृणाली मृद्वीनां, soft like the stalk or the stem of the lotus, tava bhujalatanam chatasrunam, and your four arms which are like the creeper, Soundaryam, the beauty, Sarasija Bhava, that is Brahma, Stauti Vadanaihi, by his faces he praises, Nakhebhyah, by the fingernails, Santrasyan, fearing, Prathama Mathanat, with the previous first attack on him, Andhakaripoho, by the destroyer of Andhaka, that is Munyalaka, the demon who represents the ignorance. So it is referring to Shiva as the destroyer of that Andhaka, or he is the enemy of the ignorance, enemy of that Andhaka. Chaturnam Shirshanam, with existing four heads, samam, simultaneously. Abhaya hastarpanadhiya, hoping that you might protect him through extending abhaya hasta, through your creeper-like, soft like the stalk of the lotus kind of arms. So what is it? Devi, with four arms which are delicate, soft like the stalk of the lotus, and they are like the creepers, long ones, which are beautiful. Brahma is praising with all the four faces simultaneously about the beauty of your arms, hoping that your arms will protect Brahma from Shiva, because he has the taste of Shiva's wrath. So what do we understand by this mantra? Brahma, with the influence of ego, he erred many times. But the most impactful error was he created Saraswati. When it is his own creation, it is like she's daughter. But because of the beauty and the knowledge she's having, he was attracted to her in the wrong way and he started following her. Shiva could not withstand this and he, in wrath, he cut off one head. Because Brahma started praying with all the rest of the 4 heads, Devi protected him like Shri Mata. Because she is Abrahma Kita Janani. She is Jagadamba. So with motherly affection, she protected him from the wrath of Shiva and made him retain the rest of the 4 heads. So here what can we understand? Mrinali Mridvinam. It is not the physical beauty which Shankaracharya is referring to. The arms are, in what way Brahma is praising her, the arms are so soft, delicate, which needs care. Not only that, they are like the creeper which depend on something else for its existence. Isn't it? The creepers always take the help of the tree or some pole for it to grow and sustain itself. So like that, your hands are so soft, delicate, and it seems like it needs the support of something else. But, oh mother, you are protecting with such delicate Chaturbhuja, the 4 hands, the whole universe, all beings. Even if they do such harsh mistakes, errors, you have that motherly love, affection, and you bring them back on track and you protect them. You nurture them with love and compassion. And thus I bow down. So Brahma is praising her limbs. Mandala for this is Devi's protective arms. Phala, power to fascinate and attract people and the situations. So the meaning here we can take is for us sadhakas to grow. When we make the focal point, our hub, the center of our life cycle as Atma, as Devi, with Anthakarana as the 4 spokes. And even if the wheel turns around us, we will be stable in the center because we have surrendered to that Atma to be the center, the Lord of all the 4 spokes. When Brahma did that Aham as the center and Mano, Buddhi, Chitta and Atma as the 4 spokes of the circle, it started moving in wrong way and it lost the balance, and thus Shiva had to take out that egoistic head from Brahma. So it is always better for us to do Atma as the hub, the center, and the four spokes as Mano, Buddhi, Aham, Chitta, so that the wheel of life will move smoothly in balance. Nakanamudyotaihi
ज्ञानामुद्योतैः
नवनलिनरागं विहसताम्
नवनलिनरागं विहसताम्
कराणां ते कान्तिम्
कराणां ते कान्तिम्
कथय कथयामः कथमुमे
कथयामः कथमुमे
कयाचिद्वा साम्यम्
याचिद्वा साम्यम्
भजतु कलया हन्तकमलम्
भजतु कलया हन्तकमलम्
यदि क्रीडल्लक्ष्मी
यदि क्रीडल्लक्ष्मी
चरणतललाक्षारसचणम्
चरणतललाक्षारसचणम्
नखानामुद्योतैर्नवनलिनरागं विहसताम् कराणां ते कान्तिं कथय कथयामः कथमुमे कयाचिद्वा साम्यं भजतु कलया हन्तकमलम् यदि क्रीडल्लक्ष्मी चरणतललाक्षारसचणम् Nakhanamudyotaih. The splendor of your nails lit up with radiance, the brightness. Navanalina ragam, with brightness of newly bloomed lotus. Vihasatam, surpasses, mocking laughter. Karanam te kantim, the radiance of your hands. Kathaya, tell us. Kathayama, katham. How shall we describe it? Ume, O Uma. Kayachidva, somehow. Samyam, similarity. Bhajatu, can attain. Kalaya, hantakamalam, lotus by contact. Yadi, if Krida Lakshmi, sporting goddess Lakshmi, Charanatala, underneath of her feet with Laksha Chanam, the red Laksha juice, the alta, the red color which normally the Sumangalis wear around their feet and even to the tips of their fingers. It signifies Shubha, Mangala, Saubhagya. So the summary of this mantra is, O Uma, tell us how can we describe the radiance, the bright radiance of the tip of the fingers and the nails, which is radiating with so much of bright red color. The nails are so bright and red. And it looks like as though your hands are like the lotus, beautiful lotus, with even the tips being so bright red. So this lotus is seeming like laughing at the just then blooming lotus, in which only the center is red in color, but rest of the place is still pale. How shall we describe it? And it is red because Lakshmi is sitting in the lotus. Padmasani. She is sitting in the lotus. And even if we want to describe this newly blooming lotus to be red, Lakshmi cannot sit in one place, but she has to walk around, play around in the whole lotus so that the Laksharasa, that red color, will come all over the petals. So only if at all Lakshmi moves around in the lotus, probably it is possible to get the red color. So here, what we can understand is Nakhanam Udyotaihi Navanalina Ragam Vihasatam. Devi, she is filled with Prana Shakti, overflowing with Prana Shakti. And that has passed on to Lakshmi, which is in the form of alta, or that the red paste which she is having around her feet and underneath her feet. So that is representing the Prana Shakti and the Rajoguna. And thus, because she is sitting in the lotus, only that portion is red with lots of Prana Shakti in it. And the petals are still pale. So, Devi's Prana Shakti need to be transmitted through Lakshmi, which is Kriya Shakti. Here it is Srijana Shakti of Devi, who has passed on Kriya Shakti to Lakshmi, and that Lakshmi has to bestow the lotus. That lotus is again the Jivatmas, all the beings. So for beings to get that Prana Shakti, the Kriya Shakti of Lakshmi is very much needed in this world, in this manifested world. समं देवि स्कन्दद्विपवदनपीतं स्तनयुगम्
समं देवि स्कन्दद्विपवदनपीतं स्तनयुगम्
तवेदं नः केदम्
नवेदं नः खेदम्
हरतु सततं प्रस्नुतमुखम्
हरतु सततं प्रस्नुत
यदा लोक्याशङ्काकुलितहृदयो हासजनकः
यदा लोक्याशङ्काकुलितहृदयो हासजनकः
स्वकुम्भौ हेरम्भ
वकुम्भौ हेरम्बः
परिमृशति हस्तेन झटिति
हरिमृशति हस्तेन झटिति
समं देवि स्कन्दद्विपवदनपीतं स्तनयुगम् तवेदं नः केदं हरतु सततं प्रस्नुतमुखम् यदा लोक्याशङ्काकुलितहृदयो हासजनकः स्वकुम्भौ हेरम्भ परिमृशति हस्तेन झटिति. Okay, I think I didn't tell you the mandala and phala for the previous one. Mandala for 71 is on splendor of Devi's hands. Phala, command over other dimensions of existence. Jagrut, Swapna, Sushupti, and Turiya are also different dimensions. Samam Devi Skandas Dvipavadana Pitam Stanayugam. Samam, simultaneously, both together. Devi, O Devi, Skanda, that is Muruga or Shanmuga, Kumara. Dvipavadana, the elephant-headed Ganesha. Pitam Stanayugam, they are suckling your breasts. Tavedam, these breasts of yours. Nahkedam, our sorrow. Haratu, let destroy. Satatam, always. Prasnuta mukham, from which the milk is overflowing. Yada lokya, seeing which. Shankakulita hridaya, with doubtful and worried heart. Hasajanakaha, apparently causing great amusement. Swakumbhav, his frontal lobe. Herambha, that is Ganesha. Parimrishati, touched and examined. Hastena jhatiti, by his hands suddenly. So it's a beautiful, what shall I say, beautiful mantra which brings out the whole perfect family of Shiva and Shakti. Trilochana Kutumbini, with 2 kids who are suckling the breasts happily, and Shiva and Parvati are there together. So this describes both of them are drinking the milk, suckling the breasts, which are overflowing with milk continuously. Let your breasts take away our sorrow. Looking at your breasts, Ganesha, Heramba Vadana, all of a sudden, he's touching his own forehead, which is the Kumbha, because he is elephant faced, it is bulging here. So he's touching and testing it. How come I see this Kumbha being there as the breast of my mother? Has it flown and sitting on mother's chest? Or do I have still my own front lobe on my face? So with that doubt and fear, he touched and examined and tested. That created amusement to the parents, Shiva and Shakti. Shankaracharya is too great. Only he can bring the deep understanding of the whole philosophical concept of our Upanishads, Sanatana Dharma, in such a beautiful poetic way. You saw the summary. The literal summary of this is amusing, but it is talking a lot. It is guiding the sadhakas by holding the hand, and this is what you should do. This is how you should proceed to understand your own self, to go closer to Shiva and Shakti. It's beautiful. Let us get into it in detail now. Samam Devi, Skanda Dvipavadana Pitam Stanayugam. So, Samam, here that Samam, simultaneously. And they have been drinking continuously. Means all the three of them, Parvati as mother of Ganesha and Shanmuga, as kids, they are Kalatita. They are beyond the hold of the time. And thus, the process of suckling the Amrita, the milk, is going on and on and on. Samam Devi Skanda Dvipavadana Pitam Stanayugam. Pitam Stanayugam. Suckling the breasts. It is a very big phenomenal achievement by even the newborns in this world. Suckling. It is easy for us to say the child, as soon as it is born, instinctively it suckles. That suckling, that action is so deep and it is tough. It is not just continuously taking the milk in. It has to create the vacuum in the mouth. And then it has to latch on. And then it has to suck the milk. Three things are happening just to get the nutrition food as mother's milk. Vacuum, creating the vacuum, latching onto it continuously, and then sucking the milk. So, because it is creating the vacuum means the air, everything is taken out. Because of which he is able to latch on. Once the latch is lost, the suckling is not possible. So it has to continuously latch on to. And sucking, it has to take in the milk. And Ganesha and Skanda are taking what type of milk from whom? The mother is so great. She is the source and Jagadamba. From her, that milk can be only Amrita. And that Amrita is giving both nutrition to the body and as well as to the Anthakarana. Tavedam nahkedam haratu satatam. Prasnutamukam. Prasnutamukam shows that the continuous flow of milk, which Ganesha thought as the tusk, that shows Devi is having, and with compassion, she is flowing that milk continuously so that all the beings can take that nutrition, can take that milk, which is the jnana and the nutrition for the body as well. She is showering that. It is for us to take that Amrita. So, Tavedam nahkedam haratu. For those breasts to take away our sorrow, how is it possible? What should we do? We should become like that Ganesha and Skanda who are suckling. We should also suckle that knowledge which she is continuously showering with compassion, so much of readiness, completeness. So, first of all, we had to create the vacuum. That means all other thoughts, our desires which are dragging us towards everywhere. So we are filled with the desires and the thoughts. So we had to create that vacuum by taking out all those things. And then we had to latch on to her. We had to latch on to her. Means that is possible. Latching on is possible if we make her as our own Atma. So she always stays in us. Latching on to her. Latch. Hold on tightly by creating the vacuum. And then the jnana which is coming continuously, overflowing, prasnuta mukha, that we should be able to swallow, suck and swallow and digest. So thus we will be like Ganesha and Kumara. And no doubt when we are getting that exclusive diet of Devi's milk, no doubt it will take away all the sorrow, because that ignorance would have gone away from us. All types of ignorance, the desires for not worthy things would have gone away. So we are kept in that bliss in the lap of Devi, suckling her breasts for knowledge and all the things we need to progress in our spiritual path. Yada lokya shanka kulita hridayo hasa janaka. So he is looking at Devi's breasts and he's thinking, he's doubting about Swakumbhav Herambha Parimshati Hastena Jaditi. He's testing it. This is one of the major stages where every sadhaka would have so many doubts. Question after question would keep coming. The doubt after doubt would keep coming. So he is representing, Ganesha is representing that. Two things he is representing. By thinking that Devi's breasts as his own Gajakumbha, he is thinking it is reflection of his own self, Bimba Pratibimba. He is seeing his own Kumbha in Devi's breasts. So, the concept of Bimba Pratibimba, Ganesha is going through. And no doubt, Devi Purnamadha Purnamidam, whatever comes directly from Devi, it will have the amsha of her own self, and it remains and it reflects Devi only in that. So Ganesha is becoming one with her by knowing that he is the reflection of Devi. And he is seeing the reflection of his own self in Devi. So Bimba Pratibimba is also, we can understand. Secondly, Parimrishati, that is, he is examining Hastena Jhatiti. At once he is getting it cleared off. The confusion, the doubt, the question, it should be cleared off at the very next moment. having too many confusions and then putting up new knowledge into our being or in our process will only make it more jumbled up. Instead, at once we had to clear off the doubts and then proceed further. So the phala for this is mandala, overflowing breasts of Devi. Phala, freedom from fear, especially of unknown. अमूते वक्षोजौ
मूते वक्षोजौ
अमृतरसमाणिक्यकुतुकौ
अमृतरसमाणिक्यकुतुकौ
न सन्देहस्पन्दो
न सन्देहस्पन्दो
नगपतिपताके मनसि नः
पताके मनसि नः
पिबन्तौ तौ यस्मात्
पिबन्तौ तौ यस्मात्
अविदितवधू सङ्गरसिकौ
अविदितवधू सङ्गरसिकौ
कुमारावद्यापि द्विरदवदन
कुमारावद्यापि द्विरदवदन
क्रौञ्चदलनौ
क्रौञ्चदलनौ
अमूते वक्षोजौ अमृतरसमाणिक्यकुतुकौ न सन्देहस्पन्दो नगपतिपताके मनसि नः पिबन्तौ तौ यस्मात् अविदितवधू सङ्गरसिकौ कुमारावद्यापि द्विरदवदन क्रौञ्चदलनम् Amute Vakshojau. These two breasts of yours, Amritarasa Manikya Kutupau, are the gems studded pitchers, are the jars of eternal sweet milk. Na sandehas no doubt at all. Nagapati Patake, oh, the victorious flag of Nagapati, that is Himalaya. Manasinaha, in our minds, pibantau tau, drinking their contents, that is Amrita, yasmat, by which avidita, not having, vadhu sangharasikau, know the pleasure of the company of women, Kumaro, have remained as young boys, adyapi, even to this day. Dvirada Vadana, that is Ganesha, Krauncha Dalana, that is Kumara, who killed Krauncha, that is his own uncle, who was in the form of Parvata. So, what is the summary? O Nagapati Patake, Amute Vakshojau Amritarasa Manikya Kutupau. Because your breasts are the pitchers, are the jars which are gem-studded, which are holding, which are bearing Amrita, the eternal nectar. This Ganesha and Kumara, because they have drunk the milk, Amrita, which are coming from your breasts, which are embedded with Manikya, they are eternally living as young boys. There is no doubt in us, even to this day. And they are away from the desire of having the company of women, in the sense their mind is not going towards seeking the company of women. That means they are following the celibacy. In what way we can understand this? Here, Manikya Kutupa. The breasts are the jars with embedded Manikya. The minute we think of gems or the jewels, being the students of Soundaryalahari, we should understand these gems are nothing but Kala, the light, which are so bright and radiant, and they are radiating different colors, which look like gems. Why it is radiating that? Because there is Nada, which is Amrita, which is held inside. That Nada is radiating as Manikya, Kala. So this Kumara and Ganesha are so fortunate to suckle that kind of breasts of Devi and get the direct nutrition what they need. And because that nutrition is so good in such a way that it is giving them the very knowledge of what Atma is, what that Brahma is. Brahma Jnana, they are getting continuously, and their mind is totally absorbed in that process of taking in the knowledge which is oozing out from Devi. Because the mind is so focused, it is not turning towards any other things, wanting the pleasures of this world. They are not in desire of the company of even the thoughts or the actions connected with the company of the women. Means what? In two ways we can take. One, when we take it philosophically, because they are having the direct knowledge of Brahma Jnana, their mind is not going towards acquiring the siddhis, which are in the form of women. That is one meaning. Another one, the thoughts and their desire to act in the world is not becoming seeking the worldly pleasures. Among all the thoughts and the actions, the sexual act it draws a lot of pranic energy. Lots of pranic energy are gone in this. In every thought, in every action in this world, we are losing every moment that prana shakti from all of us. And we are heading towards losing it to the extent that it becomes zero. But if a sadhaka wants to come up in his sadhana, he has to preserve that prana shakti. And because the sexual act draws so much of prana shakti, it is best to avoid or control it so that his ojas will be sublimated as the spiritual shakti. So we are getting this knowledge when we have already past that stage where we are newly wedded and we are having the children. So what can we do with this knowledge? We have to pass it on to the younger generation when they are getting married. This is the best gift an elderly person can give, especially being the student of Soundaryalahari. Because when the two people are coming together, they are taking the responsibility of giving a house, a body to a Atma which wants to experience in this world and get rid of the karmas. So the sexual act is so noble because it is connecting the cosmic energy with the individual energy and giving body to the new Atma. So because of this noble action, we are contributing to the yajna of this world, which is going on continuously, which has started from that first spandana between Shiva and Shakti, which has taken place and which is going on and on and on. So it is important to tell the young couples that having a child is a noble act. With prayerful mindset, if you have the child, it is Shreyaskara. If you are having the child with animalistic, instinctive action, it becomes Preyaskara. We have the Puranic mythological example of Kashyapa and Aditi giving birth to Devas. And out of compulsion by Diti, Kashyapa agreed, and with that animalistic instinct, they had the children who turned out as Danavas, the Asuras. So it is important that we say this to the youngsters when they newly get married, so that the world will be filled with Shreyaskara children and they will be the further praja in this world. Amute vakshojau amrita rasa manikya kutupau na sandeha spando nagapati patake manasinaha. Here again, Nagapati Patake. She is like the flag of the dynasty of Himalayan dynasty. Himalaya is the very source of life-giving water through the rivers from Himalaya. Not only that, Himalaya arrests the clouds from passing away and brings more rain. So as it is, Himalaya plays a major role. So if she has to be the flag of that dynasty, the responsibility of that Parvati is much more, because she has taken the responsibility of the Jagadamba, being the wife of Shiva, who are the Jagatah Pitarau, because they are the parents of the Jagat. Devi is continuously having Prasnuta Mukha, the milk, as the nutrition for the whole world to depend on. Pibantau tau yasmat avidita vadhu sangarasiko. So their mind is not diverted towards any other worldly pleasures. They are deeply in the bliss of Chit Ananda because they have directly suckled Devi's breasts. Mandala for this is nectar of Devi's breasts, phala, fertility and motherhood. वहत्यम्बस्तम्बेरमदनुजकुम्भप्रकृतिभिः
महत्यम्बस्तम्बेरमदनुजकुम्भप्रकृतिभिः
समारब्धा मुक्ता मणिभिरमलां हारलतिकाम्
समारब्धा मुक्ता मणिभिरमलां भारलतिकाम्
कुचा भोगो बिम्बाधर
ऊचा भोगो बिम्बाधर
रुचिभिरन्धः शबलिताम्
रुचिभिरन्तः शबलिताम्
प्रतापव्यामिश्रां पुरदमयितुः
प्रतापव्यामिश्रां पुरदमयितो
कीर्तिमिव ते
कीर्तिमिव ते
वहत्यम्बस्तम्बेरमदनुजकुम्भप्रकृतिभिः समारब्धा मुक्ता मणिभिरमलां हारलतिकाम् कुचा भोगो बिम्बाधर रुचिभिरन्धः शबलिताम् प्रतापव्यामिश्रां पुरदमयितुः कीर्तिमिव ते Vahati, it bears. Amba, Stambe Ramadanuja, that is Gajasura. Kumbha Prakriti Bihi, from the frontal lobe, by nature, Prakriti Bihi, Samarabdham, made, collected, Muktamani Bihi, the pearls, Amalam, pure, Haralatikam, creeper-like necklace. Kucha bhogo, the expanse of your breasts. Bimbadara ruchibihi, by the brilliance of your bimba-like lips. Anthashabalitam, variegated from within. That is, different colors coming from within. Pratapa Vyamishram, the confluence of valor. Puradamaituh, of Shiva, who destroyed Tripura. Kirtimivate, as well, the fame. O Amba, the pearl necklace which you are wearing is the gift, token of valor gifted by Shiva after killing Gajasura. He brought it out from the frontal lobe in which all these pearls, which are pure, white, sattva, he collected them and created creeper-like hara, haralatika, and you are wearing it. He has given it to you, which are pure white, but the lips which are carrying the red color is reflecting and giving the color to the white pearls, the redness, in such a way that as though it is coming, that redness is coming from within the pearls. So, what we can understand here is, you all must be knowing the story of that Shiva killing Gajasura, who was a great devotee of Shiva. And he wore, after killing, because Gajasura requested Shiva, I want to be very close to you all the time. Shiva said, okay. And he ripped and he covered himself as Gajacharmambara. So, and then the head, he said, I want to be the most intelligent in the whole manifestation. So for that also, Shiva said, Tatastu. And it was given to Ganesha, who is known for wisdom and intelligence. So in that Gajasura's, the frontal lobes, it is believed the pearl-like thing is there hidden. That Shiva presented it to Devi, because that Sattva Guna is coming from Devi. She is the source of that Sattva Guna. So he said it should go on her. So he prepared that hara, which looked like creeper on her neck. And as she wore it, she also brought in the prana shakti to that pearl. That pearl is also nothing but Gajasura, who is representing all the Jivatmas. So she is giving the prana for that also. So Devi's innate nature is to share, give abundantly the nutrition and the prana, because she is having it immensely, abundantly. And she has the motherly heart, love. And thus she is giving it to the whole manifestation, that prana shakti. And because of that, that hara looks as though it is the confluence of valor and fame of her husband Shiva. So, mandala for this is the pearl necklace adorning Devi. Phala, enhanced reputation, unlimited fame. Okay. Shiva Shakti, Shiva Shakti, Shiva Shakti Om. 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 Shiva Shakti, Shiva Shakti, Shiva Shakti.